I'm gonna be honest. I like ignitions. Like, a lot.
Oh my god.
Now, if that's not satisfying, I don't know what is. Well, anyways, hello everybody. My name is Epogen, and welcome back to the mess that is my channel. In today's video, I decided to pull something out of the vault that's been in the dust collection for a very long time. As this season is all about solar and stasis, well, mainly solar, but this season introduced a lot of perks that work very well with the exotic that I'll be talking about in today's video. And so, without further ado, let's get started. Alrighty, so first off, let's look at the exotic that we're using today, and that exotic's going to be the Dawn Chorus. What it says is that your Daybreak projectiles will deal more damage and scorch targets on impact. Your Scorch is improved and you gain a small amount of melee energy when you Scorch damages the target. Now what that means in numbers is that Daybreak projectiles apply 30 Scorch on hit, 40 with Ember of Ashes, into a 90% increased damage. Daybreak projectiles can also often hit twice and do double damage and therefore double Scorch. So potentially you can do 2 swings with your sword and with your Daybreak and get the ignition. Also, your Scorch deals 200% increased damage and each damage tick will grant you a 5% melee energy. So it's pretty nice for that. Alright, so now let's go to the mods of choice. And so starting off on our helmet, we have a Harmonic Siphon, an Ashes 2 assets, and a Heavy Ammo Finder. On our gauntlets, we have a Harmonic Loader. For our solo weapons, we have an Impact Induction and a Grenade Kickstart. On our chest piece, we have 2 Charged Ups. On our boots, we have Recuperation, Innovation, and Stacks on Stacks, so the typical stuff. And then we have a Outreach, a Utility Kickstart, and a Bomber. Now going to the subclass, this is for the solar stuff and also for movement for me. So this is going to change depending on your playstyle, but let's go over it real quick. So first off, we are using Daybreak, so obviously because the Dawn Chorus only works for Daybreak, so that's why. And then we have Celestial Fire, so we can hit enemies at range. We have a Fusion Grenade, because it just does a crap ton of damage with the aspect of Touch of Flame, which gives it a second explosion. Now for me, I like movement over just floating in the air, so I have Icarus Dash. But if you want to use Heat Rises so you can get final blows when you get kills while airborne, you want the melee energy, that's also a good choice too. And so for the fragments, it really changes depending on if you're playing by yourself or with a team. But if you're playing solo, then I'd recommend using Ember of Chars, so your ignitions will spread Scorch to other targets if they survive. Ember of Combustion, so I final blows with my super cause target to ignite and create a fire sprite. Ember of Singeing, so that I can get faster class ability when I scorch targets. And then Ember of Ashes, so I apply more Scorch stacks to targets. But if you're trying to do it with a team, then I would recommend using Ember of Benevolence and then Ember of Torches. So that way you can give yourself Radiant and your allies Radiant, and then also proc Benevolence and Singeing. And these two stack on top of each other and give you a lot of ability energy really quickly. So it's pretty nice for that. So the main question is, what weapons are actually very good for this? So it really depends on what your preferences is. So there's a lot of solar weapons that can Scorch just automatically, i.e. the Skyburner's Oath, Tommy's Matchbook, and the Prometheus Lens. Some require a kill, like a legendary weapon with Incandescent or even Sunshot with Sunblast. So you got a lot of choices there. Also, your heavy weapon, well, you only have one very good heavy weapon that's been meta all season, and that's the Dragon's Breath. Now, if you don't want to use Dragon's Breath, then I would highly recommend using some kind of heavy weapon with Incandescent. It just so happens that the fixed odds from the Duality Dungeon can drop with Incandescent and is craftable with Incandescent, so you can get the enhanced version of it. So I think that's pretty good for that. But yeah, and so for your kinetic slot, it really just depends. If you're doing Lost Vector content or Master or Grandmaster content, then I'd recommend just putting whatever weapon there is for what you need. For example, Unstoppable, Anti-Barrier, whatever. If you're just doing like dungeon runs or something, then I would recommend the King itself, the Scatter Signal. I have a whole video about it. It is the best fusion rifle, and you cannot tell me otherwise. So my final thoughts about the build is that it is very good. I mean, with the fragments this season, and you only really need 2, and that's the Kindling Trigger and Flint Striker, which one makes you Radiant and the other scorches unscorched targets. It makes it very good, and since Scorching is literally the Dawn Chorus's thing, It makes it a lot of fun and kills enemies really quickly, especially trash ads. It's definitely one of the best. Well, I'd say one of the best, but it's very good for what it does. But that's all I really have for this. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, enjoy the build, and I'm pretty sure the rest is just gonna be some Lost Sector gameplay. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Alrighty. Now that's a lot of damage. Yes, sir. Nice. Oh my god. That was so many ignitions. Damn! Oh my god, that was so many. What the fuck was that? That was insane. I'm not gonna lie.